If you're over 50, let me ask you something personal. When was the last time you sat all the way down in a deep squat, without wobbling, without pain, without needing support from your hands? If the answer is, I can't remember, you're not alone. In fact, most of us in our 50s, 60s, or 70s have lost this ability completely. And here's the truth. It's not just about flexibility. It's about aging. When you can't move into this posture, your body is quietly telling you that it's stiffening, losing circulation, and letting go of the natural mobility that once came so easily. But here's the part that gave me hope. Restoring this movement doesn't require hours at the gym or expensive equipment. It simply asks us to go back to what our bodies were designed to do, the resting squat. A posture so primal that our ancestors used it every single day to rest, to work, even to give birth. And now, research shows that just 5 minutes in this position can unlock benefits for your joints, digestion, balance, circulation, even your longevity. I didn't believe it until I tried it myself. For 30 days, I committed to 5 minutes a day, broken into small sets, and what I discovered was nothing short of remarkable. Today, I want to walk you through not only what happened to me, but also why this forgotten posture may be the missing link to healthy aging. Benefit 1. Joint restoration and pain relief. Let's begin with the most immediate effect, your joints. When I first lowered myself into a squat, my knees cracked, my ankles screamed, and my hips felt like rusty hinges that hadn't moved in years. And honestly, it was humbling. But as someone who has spent decades studying senior wellness, I knew this wasn't a reason to stop. It was a signal. The stiffness wasn't the enemy. It was the symptom of decades spent locked in chairs, cars, and couches. What the squat does is restore what we've lost. It reintroduces the full range of motion that our joints are starving for. Within just a week, I noticed mornings felt different. That familiar stiffness when I got out of bed, softer. The sharp cracks in my knees when I climbed stairs, less frequent. My hips, once jammed and heavy, finally felt like they could move freely again. And the science is clear. Squatting gently decompresses the joints, loads them in a healthy way, stimulates blood flow, and even reduces long-term arthritis risk. Think of it not as a workout, but as restoration, like oiling the hinges of a door that you want to keep opening smoothly well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond. Benefit 2. Reclaiming natural human movement. The second change was more subtle, but honestly, even more powerful. Practicing the resting squat felt like reinstalling my body's original operating system. Think about it. Before chairs existed, humans squatted to cook, to eat, to work, to rest. In many parts of the world, they still do. But here in the West, we've lost that connection. After 2 weeks, I realized something amazing. Ordinary tasks didn't feel like chores anymore. Picking something off the floor didn't mean groaning or holding onto a chair for support. Tying my shoes was smoother. Even turning to grab my keys felt more fluid, like my body had upgraded itself. Experts call this movement restoration, and it's becoming a focus in physical therapy. The squat doesn't just stretch your muscles, it retrains your nervous system, reconnecting your brain to the stabilizer muscles that keep you steady. It's a return to the natural, human way of moving. And once you feel that freedom again, you'll never want to give it up. Benefit 3. Strength without the gym. Here's something I didn't expect when I started. Just holding a resting squat builds real strength. Not the kind of strength you get from lifting heavy weights in a gym, but the kind of strength that supports every single movement of your daily life. When you sink into a squat, your quads, hamstrings, glutes, calves, and even the small muscles in your feet are working together to keep you upright. This isn't about pumping out dozens of repetitions. It's about isometric strength, where your muscles fire continuously just to stabilize you. After 2 weeks, I noticed real changes. Climbing stairs no longer left me winded. Long walks didn't tire out my legs as quickly. And my standing posture felt sturdier, almost as if my body had grown new roots into the ground. For older adults worried about muscle loss, a condition called sarcopenia, this is critical. Research shows we begin to lose muscle mass after 50, and it accelerates each decade. But here's the good news. Simple bodyweight holds like the squat are one of the safest and most effective ways to fight back. No gym fees, no equipment, just your body, gravity, and a few quiet minutes each day. That's strength training for longevity. Benefit 4. Digestive health and gut support. Now this one took me completely by surprise. About a week into my squat practice, I realized I felt lighter, not emotionally, physically. My digestion was smoother, bloating happened less often, and I didn't carry that sluggish heaviness in my belly anymore. It made me curious, so I dug into the science. And it turns out, the resting squat doesn't just strengthen muscles, it massages your gut. When you squat, your abdominal organs shift into an ideal position. The angle of the colon changes, T muscles around the intestines relax, and gentle pressure encourages waste to move more efficiently. That's why in many Eastern cultures, squatting remains the natural posture for elimination. They've known for centuries what Western medicine is only beginning to confirm, that posture influences digestion. Since adding squats to my day, I've noticed less bloating, more regular digestion, and overall, more energy. Think of it as giving your intestines a daily tune-up. It's subtle, but once you feel it, you'll wonder why we ever stopped moving this way. Benefit 5. Balance and fall prevention. If there's one thing that keeps many older adults awake at night, it's the fear of falling. And rightly so. Falls are one of the leading causes of injury and loss of independence after 60. But here's the part most people don't realize. Balance isn't just about not tipping over. It's a complex orchestra of ankle mobility, core strength, joint stability, and something called proprioception. That's your body's natural sense of where it is in space. The resting squat trains all of these at once. Each time you hold the position, your ankles are adjusting, your knees are stabilizing, your hips are aligning, and your core is firing, all to keep you from toppling forward or backward. And the longer you practice, the sharper this coordination becomes. For me, the difference was eye-opening. Walking on uneven ground felt safer. Standing to brush my teeth no longer made me wobble. Even quick movements, like turning around when someone called my name, felt more controlled. It was as if my body had quietly relearned how to trust itself again. For anyone over 50, that kind of confidence isn't just nice to have, it's essential. Because every moment you spend training balance today is one less fall you'll risk tomorrow. Benefit 6. Now let's talk about something many of us notice but rarely address: poor circulation. Do your ankles swell after sitting for hours? Do your legs feel heavy by the end of the day? That's your body telling you blood and lymph fluid aren't moving as efficiently as they should. Here's where the resting squat becomes a natural remedy. When you settle into this posture, your lower body is gently compressed, then released over and over as you shift your weight. That action acts like a pump, pushing blood and lymph fluid back toward the heart, encouraging circulation and preventing fluid from pooling in the lower legs. Personally, I was stunned at the difference. The dull heaviness I used to feel at night began to fade. My feet didn't feel as cold, and the puffiness in my ankles after long periods of sitting became noticeably less frequent. Doctors often recommend compression socks or leg massages for circulation issues. Those work, of course, but imagine giving your body a natural built-in solution just by practicing a position humans once used every single day. It's like a free daily flush of fresh energy through your entire lower body. Benefit 7. Posture reset and spinal alignment. Let's be honest. How many hours a day do you spend hunched forward? Maybe over a phone, a laptop, the steering wheel, or even just the arm of the couch. Over time, that slump doesn't just look bad. It changes the shape of your spine, tightens your chest, weakens your core, and can trigger constant back pain. Here's the magic of the resting squat. It gently forces your body back into its natural alignment. When you drop into the position, your pelvis tilts forward, your chest lifts, and your lower back lengthens. Without even thinking about it, your spine is stacking the way it was designed to. For me, the change was clear after just 1 week. My shoulders didn't round forward as much when I sat at the computer. That deep ache in my lower back started to ease, and even when I wasn't squatting, I carried myself differently. More upright, more open, more confident. Experts describe this as a passive spinal decompression. In other words, every time you squat, you're giving your back a free, gravity-powered chiropractic adjustment. No appointment, no equipment. Just your body resetting itself the way nature intended. Benefit 8. This next benefit isn't talked about enough, but it's life-changing. The pelvic floor is a group of muscles at the base of your core. They control bladder function, support your spine, stabilize your posture, and even influence sexual health. Yet, as we age, or after childbirth, surgery, or long periods of inactivity, these muscles often weaken. The results can be frustrating: leaks, instability, or just a general feeling of weakness in your core. What amazed me is how naturally the squat strengthens these deep, hidden muscles. Unlike traditional Kegel exercises that focus only on squeezing, the squat lengthens and engages the pelvic floor under gentle, controlled pressure. You're not just tightening, you're retraining the muscles to support your entire body. After a few weeks of daily practice, I noticed better bladder control, stronger core engagement, and a new sense of stability during everyday movements like walking or bending. For women, especially after menopause or childbirth, this kind of low-impact pelvic floor training can restore confidence. For men, it builds core power and stability that ripple into every other movement. And the best part? You don't need gadgets, crunches, or special routines. Just a few minutes in a squat each day, and you're reinforcing one of the deepest foundations of your health. Benefit 9. Hip mobility, unlocking stiffness. If there's one area almost everyone over 50 complains about, it's the hips. Hours of sitting, whether in cars, chairs, or couches, lock our hips into rigid 90-degree angles. Over the years, this doesn't just make us stiff. It robs us of flexibility, circulation, and even stability. The resting squat is like the key that unlocks that rusted door. Each time you ease into the position, your hip sockets gently open, your inner thighs stretch, and your glutes wake up, all without forcing or straining. Instead of pushing into painful flexibility, you simply sink into it and let your body rediscover movement it's been missing for years. For me, it only took 2 weeks before I noticed the difference. Walking felt smoother. My stride naturally lengthened. Getting down to tie my shoes no longer felt like an awkward yoga pose. And most importantly, my hips felt alive again, capable of moving in every direction, not just forward and back. Strong, mobile hips aren't just about comfort. They protect your lower back, support balance, and keep you moving with ease well into your later decades. Benefit 10. Longevity, the hidden predictor of lifespan. Now here's something that truly stopped me in my tracks. A major study found that adults who could sit down and stand up from the floor without using their hands had a dramatically lower risk of early death. Think about that. Something as simple as moving from the ground to standing, something we take for granted when we're young, turns out to be a powerful predictor of how long we'll live. And guess what? The resting squat trains exactly that. Each day you practice, you're not just working your legs, you're keeping alive the coordination, flexibility, and strength needed to rise from the floor independently. This hit home for me when I thought about real-life moments: picking up my grandchild without wincing, kneeling in the garden without dreading the stand-up, or simply knowing that if I ever fell, I'd have the strength and confidence to get back on my feet. Longevity isn't about living longer just for the sake of it. It's about maintaining independence, dignity, and freedom of movement as we age. The squat, in its simplicity, is one of the quietest yet most powerful investments you can make for your future self. Here's a benefit very few people talk about, yet it's one I felt almost immediately. Better breathing. When you drop into a proper squat, your spine lengthens, your chest naturally opens, and your diaphragm has more room to expand. Suddenly, each breath isn't shallow and rushed, it's deeper, fuller, more nourishing. I found myself taking slow, natural breaths in this position, and the difference carried into my day. I had more energy, less of that afternoon slump, and even my walks felt easier because my lungs were working more efficiently. And the science supports it. Posture directly affects lung capacity. Poor posture compresses the lungs and shortens your breathing cycle. But in the squat, you're giving your lungs space to do what they were designed to do: fill you with oxygen, fuel your cells, and keep your body energized. For anyone over 50, this is no small thing. Improved oxygen flow means better stamina, clearer thinking, and even a calmer nervous system. All from a posture that costs you nothing but a few minutes of your time. Benefit 12. Mental calm and mindfulness. Now let's shift from the body to the mind, because the squat offers more than just physical benefits. It offers stillness. At first, when I held the position, I was focused only on my joints and muscles. But after a few days, something unexpected happened. Those 5 minutes became a pause in my day, a chance to quiet the noise and simply be present. Holding a squat isn't just exercise, it's grounding. Your feet press firmly into the earth, your breath slows, and your awareness sharpens. I began to notice small things: the rhythm of my heartbeat, the way my balance adjusted with each breath, the calm that spread as I simply stayed still. Research shows that mindful movement like this reduces stress hormones, improves mood, and even sharpens focus. For me, it became a moving meditation, a way to reset my mind as well as my body. And here's the beauty. You don't need a yoga mat, incense, or silence. Just a few minutes in a squat wherever you are, and suddenly you've given both your body and your mind a daily dose of calm. Benefit: core stability and everyday confidence. One of the hidden gifts of the resting squat is how powerfully it trains your core. And I don't mean six-pack abs. I'm talking about the deep, stabilizing muscles that protect your spine, steady your balance, and make every movement feel secure. Each time you lower into a squat, your core has no choice but to engage. Your abdominals, obliques, and deep spinal muscles all fire to keep you from falling forward or tipping back. It's not flashy, it's not loud, but it's incredibly effective. After a few weeks, I felt the difference not just in the squat, but in everyday life. Carrying groceries felt steadier. Turning quickly on uneven sidewalks felt safe instead of risky. Even my walking posture had more confidence behind it. For older adults, this kind of stability training is priceless. Because when your core is strong, everything else, from bending to standing to simply enjoying a walk, becomes easier, safer, and more enjoyable. The squat builds that kind of quiet confidence from the inside out. Now, I want to be honest. As powerful as the resting squat is, it's not for everyone. Not right away. If you've had recent hip or knee surgery, if you live with advanced osteoporosis, or if balance is already a serious challenge, jumping straight into a deep squat could do more harm than good. But that doesn't mean it's off the table. It simply means you start smarter. Hold on to a sturdy chair or countertop for support. Place a yoga block or even a folded towel under your heels if your ankles feel too tight. Lower only as far as your body allows, even if it's just a few inches at first. Remember this: consistency matters more than intensity. 5 seconds today becomes 10 tomorrow. What feels impossible now can become natural over time, if you allow your body to progress gradually and safely. And always, if you have concerns, check with your doctor or physical therapist before beginning. This posture has the power to change your health, but only when practiced with patience and respect for your body's limits. So here's the truth. Your body was never designed for chairs, for endless hours in cars, or for couches that swallow you whole. It was designed to move, to bend, to rise, and yes, to squat. Since I committed to just 5 minutes of resting squats each day, I've felt stronger, lighter, steadier, and more alive. My joints complain less, my posture feels taller, my balance is sharper, and my energy flows more freely. But beyond the physical changes, I feel more in tune with my body, as if I've returned something it's been missing for decades. Will it feel awkward at first? Absolutely. Your heels may lift, your hips may protest, your ankles may whisper, "What are you doing?" But that's not failure. That's your body showing you exactly where it needs attention. And with patience, those whispers turn into progress. Start small. 20 seconds today, 30 tomorrow. Add support if you need it. What matters most is not how deep or how long, but that you show up consistently. Because every squat is an investment, not just in your muscles, but in your mobility, your confidence, and your independence. And here's the part I love most. 10 years from now, your future self will thank you. They'll thank you for fewer aches, for steadier steps, for the freedom to play with grandchildren, garden without fear, and rise from the ground without hesitation. So ask yourself, if 5 minutes a day could give you that kind of future, why not start today?